and I'm going to get started for the day. So want to welcome you first of all, and I have some things I want to go over. So open class, what I plan to do is go over maybe some problems from whatever's going on that week in the lessons. So if you guys are getting stuck or you're not quite there yet, you have some problems to kind of use an example where maybe I go over it differently than how it was taught in the videos. And I try to pick the subjects or the topics that are more difficult. So sometimes I'll go over how to use formulas or whatever it might be, but it will be something from that week's lesson that the week is in based on the pacing. So first off, I want to kind of go over Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and share some of the Canvas screen, and just so you guys can get some of the information, know how to get to it, and all of that that's going to pertain to us, particularly for this class. So let me switch my share. And it's going to be, sorry, there's so many different options there. So hopefully you can see my screen now of the Canvas. It doesn't. So when you're in Canvas, our Zoom link is easy to get to. It's right here. This is for the open class every week. If you want to sign up for one-on-one appointments, you're going to sign up through Calendly. So when you go there, you can choose your dates and you would go ahead, select the time. They're in 15-minute intervals. You could go to the next week. They're set out to be about 10 days in advance, so you can see some more for next week out there. And again, whatever you need, you'll fill it out. And this Zoom link that we saw here is going to be the same Zoom link for those meetings. It will also send you an email confirmation, so look for that after you sign up. The other piece to that is you can see off to the side, this is your to-do list, so you know what you need to do. Grades are always going to be put in through Canvas. We're used to using Q. We will not use Q. Everything will be in Canvas for all your classes. And then when we do final grades at the end of the semester, that's when we'll put a grade into Q, so it'll show on your report card. Other than that, everything will be done in Canvas. Some other things that are going to be important. Let me switch my share. My options on here are being silly right now. And so the office hours links, that's how you schedule it. They are Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 9:45, or you could go ahead and book them on Tuesday, Thursday, or for Thursday at 8:30 to 9:15. Notes, very important. You guys went through the orientation through Canvas, but sometimes you guys still need a reminder. You must have on each sheet of notes you turn in, oh, it's blurry, it's going to need your name, ID number, and date on every sheet, not just the top, not just every other one. It has to be on every one. I know it's a pain, but it has to be on every page. Otherwise, I have to send it back for you to resubmit. And you only need to send them in at the end of the unit. So don't send them in after you finish one lesson. It's at the end of the unit when you're ready to take the test, and I'll use that to unlock your test. There are guided notes. You can choose to use guided notes. Some of you guys aren't quite sure, how do I access the guided notes? So if you want to go ahead and access those guided notes, you would need to go into your Edgenuity. And if you go ahead, when you're in your Edgenuity screen, if you click on this to get to the guided notes, just click the little icon right here next to the topic. And those are the sections that have the guided notes. Most of ours have them, so you can see they're here. Now there's 10 pages of that. You don't want to print it on 10 pages. Do 2 or 4 to a sheet, and do it front and back if you can do front and back, so you can save paper. But they are here if you choose to do it. Last year when I taught pre-cal, to be honest, most of the kids didn't choose to do it because it was so much paper. They would rather just do it on their own. Personal preference. If you want to do it in like a binder notebook and a spiral bound book, and so you could turn it in at the end of the semester like that, go for it. That's perfectly okay. That's whatever you prefer for that. And let me go back to my list. Annuity grades. So when I do my grades, again, they're going to be in Canvas only. And what happens is there is a grade specific for Annuity. So when we talk about that Annuity grade, I will put it in every Monday. Now, here's the catch. If Monday comes and there's an assignment due Monday, that assignment you may not have gone to yet, it is calculated in your grade. So your grade on Monday would be lower than what it actually is because you haven't had a time to actually do that assignment. Now, if you don't want to see that reflected in your grade and you have something due on Monday, then you would need to complete it by Sunday so that it doesn't bring down your grade. So that's always going to be the case. Just know that, like, hey, if your grade's a little bit lower and you're like, why is it lower? It's because that grade from Monday's assignments is being calculated in as a 0, whatever that assignment is. If it's a quiz, it's going to be worth more. If it's a test on a Monday, that would really drop your grade. So you would have to take it ahead of time if you don't want to see it in your grade for that week, but it's just a temporary thing. So it's just to kind of give you an idea where you are overall. So don't freak out if it's lower and you go, then by the end of Monday, you're like, that's not my grade. I will update them only on Mondays, every Monday. Just something to think about though, as I do your grades, and know that it could be lower than what it actually should be. Or if you don't like to see that, then you need to work so that you're at least a day ahead when Monday comes. If you have questions, you want me to go over something particular during our open class or we're meeting for office hours, send them to me ahead of time. If you have a problem, you're like, I just don't get it, take a screenshot and email it to me. That's usually the easiest. And then I could go over the problem and see it. So screenshot and email to me. If you have a particular concept, make sure that you tell me what unit you're working in and the lesson. Sometimes you guys will just like say, hey, I don't understand this. And I'm like, I don't even know where you guys are at to know, like, what are they asking? So it really helps for me to know what lesson you're working in. Often, again, like I said, I like to go over a couple of problems with you guys, just as a little bit of a review or things that you guys struggle with, and word problems is one of them. So I'm going to go over, I only have 2 problems. It won't take me that long. So I'd like for you to kind of hang on to it. And then I will put the attendance link in the chat when we're done. But real quickly, so if I have 4 cups of pure water added to a 20-cup bowl of punch that is 75% juice, it wants to know what percentage of the new punch is juice. So what we call this is what we call a part to whole problem. So when we talk about saying a part to whole, we're taking just a little bit of something out of the whole thing. So that's why we often refer to it as a part to whole. So it's always the part over the whole. That's kind of our ratio there, that part to whole. And so we call those kind of problems, it gets its name because we're writing it as a ratio like this. And so we're talking about 4 cups of pure water added to a 20-cup bowl. So the whole thing is 20 cups. So here's what we have. Original cups is 15, so amount of juice is 15 cups. The amount of punch is 20. So we added 0 cups here, and we added 4 cups here. So when we talking about the new number of cups, nothing changed here. We added the 4 cups to that 20. So we're at 24. So this is what this new punch is after we added the 4 cups to what we already had. Then we want to go ahead and we could go ahead and see then that the part that is juice is 15 out of the punch that is 24. So the part is the juice out of the whole punch. So you could also calculate the water piece as well, but they're looking for the juice. So in this case, then I would plug that into my calculator and I got 0.625. Make sure you answer the actual question because it talks about a percentage. When we write this as a percentage, it's going to be 62.5% juice. So when we added more water to that punch, it watered it down. So it's a lower percentage than what we started with. My second type of problem I have for you is what we call a work problem. These are called work problems, where we have two people that are working together. So we have Kalen and his friend Marna who own a chimney sweeping service. They're going to work together to clean a 20-foot chimney, and together it takes them 1 hour and 1 5/7 of an hour. If it takes Kalen 4 hours to do it by himself, and it's asking how long would it take Marna to clean the same size as she did it by herself. So together, if they're both working, they're going to get it done quicker. If just Kaylin's doing, it's going to be 4 hours. They want to know, well, how long if just Marna does it, is it going to take her? So this is the interesting piece right here. That's 1/4. It says the rate. This 1/4, and that's what we're talking about, Kaylin. It's saying it takes him 4 hours to clean one chimney. So this is chimneys per hour. He can clean one chimney in 4 hours. That's what this is saying, is one chimney in 4 hours. And it's going to together, it takes them 1 hour, 1 5/7 of an hour. I don't like to look at it like that. Once you get to upper division math, we never look at these mixed numbers. We always use the improper fraction. So this is the same thing as saying 12/7. And the fraction completed. And here's what they gave us. Well, where did they come up with this value here? Here's what happens. When we talk about this, to get this value, I multiply 1/4 times my 12/7, and that's going to give me my 3/7. So again, that was 1/4 times my 12/7 is going to give me 3/7. Just a quick little reminder of how we get there. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and so it simplifies to my 3/7. So the same idea is going to happen here then. If we want Marna, it's going to be x times my 12/7 is going to equal my 12/7 x. That's where that's coming from. Okay, well, how do I solve this? So they work together, they complete one whole job. So this is a fraction. This is how much work that Kaylin does and that Marna does when they're working together. So this right here completes one job. So my 3/7 plus my 12x over 7 is going to complete one whole job. And so it's equal to that value of 1. Now, this is a trick that I like to use. I've used for years going through the math levels for my students, because you guys don't like fractions. You guys dislike fractions completely, and I don't blame you. Sometimes it's hard, but whenever I see a fraction, I look at whatever the denominator is and I multiply everything by that. So the 7 would go to each piece. And what happens is these 7s would cancel out here, the 7 would cancel out here, and this would just then become a 7. So I would end up with 3 plus 12x is equal to 7. And this you guys can solve. We want to figure out, what is this x? This is what we're looking for. How long is it going to take Marna to do that? So if I solve for x, subtract 3 from both sides, 12x is equal to my 4, divide by 12, and I have x is equal to 1/3. So this is saying 1/3. So does it take her 1/3 of an hour? No, remember, this is saying one chimney in 3 hours. So it would take her 3 hours to clean that one chimney. The other thing that I'm going to note for you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that down there. The other thing I want to note for you guys that you guys see in these word problems is that, just kind of a recall, is that distance is equal to your rate times time. That formula comes up quite a few times in the problem. So I just want to kind of remind you that the distance is your rate, how fast you're going, miles per hour, or whatever the units might be, times your time. Let me go ahead and share with you the attendance link. Put it in the chat. And so make sure to fill this out. Every time you join any type of meeting, it's the same link for that. So make sure you go ahead and you select open class for today, my name, and I don't know if it gives a subject or not. I can't recall offhand, but make sure you have to do your grade level and then off virtual class session when you do that. Do you have any other questions? If you don't have any questions, you're free to go enjoy your day. Otherwise, message me, whatever you need. All right, have a good day.